Good evening, folks. This is Ron Tyler with Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the Crossroads of the West in Salt Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 6:32 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in the Mountain West of Salt Lake City, Utah. The date is Monday, January 27th, 2020. We want to welcome everybody here that is here joining us right now in our chat rooms, whether it be on Freedom Revolution Network or on any other broadcasting medium where you are picking us up. We want to welcome everybody here and everybody that will join us either later tonight or on a delayed broadcast basis. Thank you for joining us here at freedomrevolutionnetwork.com and on the Emergency Management Associates radio show and video and television. We're on everywhere, and we're here to serve you, just like our video pointed out. We will try to have new videos put together before, and we already have them. I just haven't brought them up, but we will have more videos coming to you very shortly, and ending with videos as well. We appreciate you all joining us here. I wanted to have Terry Rempel on with us, but he has not come on yet. We hope to have him here with us very shortly. I have invited him to participate, and we talked last night after our program as well. So with that said, I believe he's aware of it. I'm not sure whether he's aware of the 6 p.m. time, although the email spells it out. But I want to tell you what is going on today. Earlier today, we had a 6+ earthquake, and I'm going to show you that right now. Actually, I'm sorry, yesterday was a 6+. It was a 5.2 magnitude earthquake that hit up in Amatinak Island in Alaska. Again, this is in the central part of Alaska where we've been just getting smacked around up there. Yesterday we had a I believe it was a 6.7 is what they came out to be, and I believe it was a lot larger than that, up into the lower 7s. Today, oh, that was weird. I do not know what happened and why the screen reduced itself. Okay, anyway, getting back here, we had a 6.3 in the Solomon Islands early this morning. Now, this 6.3 was forecast by myself just about a week ago when we had a 4.7 magnitude earthquake down in the South Fiji. If you remember, it was like 620 kilometers beneath the surface of the earth. And I said that at that point in time, we'd be having a more shallow, stronger earthquake, probably either in Vanuatu or the Solomon Islands. And here it is today, a 6.3 magnitude earthquake, 105 kilometers, approximately 70 miles west-northwest of Kirakira, Solomon Islands. To top that one off, we have a 5.1 magnitude earthquake over here in Taran, near Taran, Papua New Guinea. So we've had two large earthquakes, one being very strong, a 6.1, and also another one that was a 5.1 in Taran, Papua New Guinea today. Now I am using the USGS map only for convenience here because I want to show you the strongest quakes that have happened. There are a lot more quakes than this. As you can see by the USGS map, it shows 42 earthquakes in this map zone. There are a lot more than that. As of this morning, there were 621, excuse me, not 621. As of this morning, there were 221 earthquakes that were on the map earlier today, and I'm going to check that number in just a second here. If you'll give me just a second. We've already had, as of this year, as of January 27th today, we've had 10,042 earthquakes. 10,042 earthquakes. just so far in the past 27 days. Just in the past 27 days. And that's not all, folks. There's more here. Just a second, let me pull up this other map here, and I will tell you about it. And I don't know where my map went here. That's really weird. I know it's here. That is so strange. I just had it here just a few minutes ago. There it is. I have 5 different applications on my phone. And why? Because there are at least that many apps that will give me the necessary information that I need to give to you. There were 264 earthquakes just today. 264 earthquakes since midnight last night. The largest being that 6.2 in the Solomon Islands. And I have not had a chance to go to the back page, seismologist back page study page, seismologist back study page to check it out. I've been very busy with a lot of issues today, but that's what's going on. At least a 6.2 over here in the Solomon Islands, a 5.1 in Papua New Guinea. I want to show you over here in Bengkulu, Indonesia, over here in the Java area, a 4.8, a moderate 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit 151 kilometers south of Bengkulu, Indonesia. This was out in the open ocean, the Indian Ocean over there. And just northwest of there, we had a 4.6 in Kembanje, Indonesia, approximately 50 miles west of Kembanje, Indonesia. Again, this was out in the Indian Ocean. Also today in Bangladesh, got hit by a moderate 4.5 magnitude earthquake, just a moderate quake. There was some damage with that quake associated with that quake today. There's also a moderate 4.0 magnitude quake over in Tajikistan. Let's go over here to Central America. Corinto, Nicaragua. Nicaragua had a moderate 4.3 magnitude quake there. Now I want to go over here to Puerto Rico first before we go anywhere else, and I'm going to show you some other earthquakes here. And by the way, Terry, happy day, my friend. Welcome.
Hello, Ron. Thanks for having me back.
Terry, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me, Terry?
I can hear you.
We have Terry in the house, but he is not coming up yet. He may have accepted our invitation, but while I was talking about this, he took leave for a minute. Over here in Puerto Rico, I wanted to show you this. We had a 3.4 magnitude earthquake within the last 40 minutes over here in southeast of Maria Antonia, Puerto Rico. Now this earthquake was off the coast here, I believe. Most of the earthquakes in Puerto Rico have been off the coast. Yes, it was just, actually it was on the coast, it appears. This one looks like it was on the coast right here. 3.4, a small rattler, shall I say, a small rattler that happened today. 3.4 is a rather small rattler. Earthquakes that are small range in size from 3.0 to 3.9. But because of the 0.9 society, it could, anything 3.9 could have been larger, but this was a 3.4. We will accept that. Today we also had a 4.3, a moderate 4.3 just east of there, 11 kilometers, which is about 7 miles south-southwest of Ponce, Puerto Rico. This was offshore, and it was just a moderate quake. Now, as you can see, there's some other earthquakes here, a 4.3 out in the ocean, the Caribbean, approximately 5 miles south-southwest of Ponce. And then we've had some smaller earthquakes, as you can tell, 3.7, 3.2, and such all over here. We did have a 2.8, which is a minor quake, near Santo Domingo, Puerto Rico today. Over right on the coast, we had another 3.3 and a 2.8 near Indios, Puerto Rico today. Most of these have been offshore, as you can tell. There's a 2.9 this morning, 5 kilometers, which is 2.5 miles south-southwest of Indios, Puerto Rico there. All these earthquakes are basically off the coast of Puerto Rico. So that's what's going on, folks. Terry, are you with us?
I am with us. Can you hear me, though?
Okay, I'm not hearing Terry. Oh, joy. Let me go over here and check something really quick. I know Terry spoke, but I have not heard him. Okay. You'll have to bear with me. I don't think we've had any audio, which is very sad. So if you guys could just stand by with me, we're going to rectify that situation right now. I'm so sorry you guys did not have any audio. Stand by for just a minute, please. All right. I just can't believe this. Stand by just a second, everybody. We will have you with us in just a second, if you will. Just a quick second, folks, please. We'll get it here. Okay, here we go. Okay, do we have audio? Terry, can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you, Ron, but can you hear me?
I can hear you too. Awesome, we are on.
Oh, good.
Let me just message Melissa and make sure that she can hear us. I just want to welcome everybody here, if you can all hear us now. I just brought Terry in here. Sorry for that.
You're sure you brought me in?
We're glad to have Terry with us tonight. Yesterday we had Terry in the chat room, and now Terry is with us, and we are excited about that. Okay, Melissa's informed us that we are on the air everywhere now. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let me go back here. I'm not going to start the program over. I had a video playing a few minutes ago showing the information we have, and apparently you didn't have the audio with it, but that's okay. The video played, and that's what's important right now, because we showed the legal information on the video so everybody could read it. So I think that's good enough at this point in time. Okay, I was just showing you Puerto Rico here. We had a couple earthquakes here, quite a few earthquakes actually. 3.4 magnitude earthquake hit just a short while ago, about an hour ago, approximately 12 miles south-southeast of Maria Antonia, Puerto Rico. We've had earthquakes all day long, as you can see. There's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 earthquakes so far today in the south of Puerto Rico, south central Puerto Rico. This is from, and we've spoken about this before, this is from the 8.0 and the 8.4 magnitude earthquake that hit about 2 weeks ago here. It'll be 2 weeks ago tomorrow that those earthquakes hit, and these are still the resulting aftershocks from those large earthquakes. Just before we leave this area, I am showing you a earthquake that has hit out in the mid-Atlantic Ocean. They show it to be 52 kilometers, which is about 28 miles west-northwest of Arafis, Portugal. This is out on the earthquake fault running from the basically the Middle East all the way out here to the mid-Atlantic. This is not on the North Mid-Atlantic fracture zone. Okay, it is on the earthquake fault that intersects with the North Mid-Atlantic fracture zone. It is right there. It is in the central part of the Atlantic Ocean. But, and it may, because of its location, it may continue west and north up the North Atlantic fracture zone here. But time will tell. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see. While we've got these other earthquakes over here, Iran got hit by a 5.2 today. That was not unexpected. Over here in Turkey, where we've had all those earthquakes, we've now had a 4.4 earthquake there today. This is an aftershock from all those earthquakes. Over in Tajikistan, we had a 4.0. Tajikistan, we had a 4.0. Before we go anywhere else, this earthquake just happened just a short time ago. Within the last probably 10 or 15 minutes, a 2.7 minor quake hit near Quinton, Oklahoma. In fact, for all intents and purposes, 2.2 kilometers is 1 mile from Quinton, Oklahoma. I'm going to put this at Quinton, Oklahoma for all practical purposes. This just happened, and it's not the only earthquake today. It's not the only earthquake today. While we've got you here, this earthquake just popped up on the map, which means it just happened. We have a large mid-range 5.5 magnitude earthquake that hit over here. It appears to be in Honshu, Japan, about 39 kilometers northeast of Nemuro, Japan. I'm going to try to open this map up a little bit wider so you can see the location of this. This is actually not on Honshu. This is at the very north end, the northeast end of Hokkaido. The northeast end of Hokkaido, a 5.5 magnitude earthquake that has hit over here in northern Japan. That is really surprising, actually. While we're up here, and this happened a short time ago over in Polana, Russia, northern Kamchatka, Russia, a 4.6. We've also had earlier today a 5.2 large earthquake hit at Amatinak Island, Alaska. This is in the middle of the Aleutian Islands. This same area has gotten hit quite extensively all weekend long. And as you can see, the 5.2 is nothing to sneeze at. It's a very large earthquake. I consider very large actually over 5.5. But considering what has been happening here all weekend long, this is still a large earthquake. A large earthquake. Yes, it happened about 25, 30 miles west of Amatinak Island. It is still close in there. And those people, if they are living on Amatinak Island, felt this earthquake. Even though it was offshore from the island, they still felt it. Now, the water in the ocean tends to, shall I say, dim the earthquake seismic energy a little bit, but they still felt this earthquake. Probably no damage. They probably felt more than likely or not, a 4.0 type of earthquake. Consider that the ocean, it's not the word dim. It dampens the seismic energy. Okay, it dampens the seismic energy. So we've had this 6.3 over in Kirakira, Solomon Islands. We've had this 5.1 down here in Papua New Guinea today. We've had this large earthquake just happen in Japan. We've had a 5.0 over in Iran, and we've had this 5.2 in the Aleutian Islands today, as well as a myriad of other smaller quakes over here in Alaska. I don't show anything around Mount Redoubt, but I'm not saying that didn't happen. And in fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if you'll just hold on, bear with me a second, I may even have a picture for you here, if you'll stand by with me just a second here. I've been getting pictures from a lot of different people today showing me what is going on. Some have given us information about the coronavirus. A lot of people have given us information about the coronavirus today. Gosh, is this one here? No, it's not that one. No, it's not that one either. That's interesting. A lot of people sent us all sorts of information today. Tons. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Over in Alaska, Mount Redoubt is still erupting today. If you can see this, I believe you can see this volcano. Mount Redoubt is still erupting today. There's a picture of it here that is less flattering of the volcano, but that volcano was, as of this morning, was still erupting. Now, some people say, oh, but Ron, it's not erupting, it's only steam. Folks, this has been constant steam for almost 3 days now. I don't consider just steam being a steam plume. When steam goes for 3 days, that's an eruption. It's a steam eruption. It's a steam eruption. So I call it how I see it. I call it how I see it. It's still going off. It's still going off. And it's going to continue. I believe it's going to continue to go off for a while. The other volcanoes in the Cascade Range, those were steam plumes that were interrupted. Those did not continue for days on end. From Seax or CX over in British Columbia, all the way down to Mount Hood, Shasta, and Lassen, those were not long-lasting steam plumes, but there was steam. They steamed off. And let me show you. Let me pull up the pictures that I have of Mount Rainier. You guys deserve to see what's going on Mount Rainier. I'm going to show you what's going on Mount Rainier. Let me pull this up, folks. Give me just a second. I have several pictures here. And we got Terry here to talk about Mount Rainier too. But I wanted to show you these pictures. These are impressive pictures. Oh, let's see here. Woodman sent us these pictures about almost a week ago. He sent us these pictures almost a week ago. Hold on. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you these pictures. That way you'll know for sure exactly what is going on. Here we go. Folks, can you see that? I hope you can. This was Mount Rainier just within the last week or so. Okay? You can clearly see the steam coming off the top of the summit. Now, Woodman contacted the locals there who said, oh, that's just blowing snow. Terry, does that look like blowing snow to you?
I would say that that is not blowing snow.
Yeah, it's not blowing snow. And neither is that.
No.
There's no way. There's no way that that's blowing snow.
I'm seeing a lot of bare rock up there, Ron.
Yeah, there's a lot of bare rock. And what happens? What happens? The steam.
Isn't it middle of the winter up there?
Yeah, it's the middle of the winter there. There's no way that that's bare rock. I mean, there's no way that it is just snow up there. It is bare rock. What has happened? The magma at the top of the mountain has melted that snow. It has melted the snow. There's no doubt in my mind what is going on there.
There's way too much bare rock showing on that mountain compared to normal as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, sorry about that. That was from Jellystone National Park. Okay, anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. So we can't just sit here and deny it. Some of these authorities think, oh, but Ron, this is only snow blowing. No, folks, it's not just snow blowing. That, that is steam going off Mount Rainier. That is steam going off Mount Rainier. And it was just about a week ago. So take it for what it's worth, guys. The authorities can't always be right. They said it was blowing snow. No way. No way. So how you doing, Terry?
Well, I must say I'm doing better today than I was yesterday for a while there.
I bet. Terry, my friend, you still have a lot of people praying for you. That's not going to stop.
And let me tell you, I appreciate those prayers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, the good thing about that is, if I shouldn't say if, when this Cascadia happens, it's very likely there's going to be a couple of police officers coming by to ask for a little bit of food as part of the whole looking after everybody program that I'm going to have. And having a little bit of security in the yard now and then is probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's 4 people that I stayed, but 4 people left the yard knowing an awful lot more about the Cascadia than they did before.
Yeah.
Quite a way to receive an education.
Yeah. And the other powers that be learned that they can't say what they did and just automatically get away with it.
Yeah. No.
Real.
It was challenging.
Yeah, I'll bet. I can only imagine how challenging it was. Been there, done that.
Yeah. I've only been on the other side of it about 1,000 times.
Only.
Yeah.
Only about 1,000. Oh.
It was a long career. It's probably a good thing that I had some background before I ever had a situation like that. But then I'd worked with both of those police officers as well over the years. I had interactions with them because paramedics and police work together.
Yeah, they do.
And, given situations.
I was an accident investigator for most of my career. Yes, I did a lot of police work as well, besides accident investigation, domestic disputes and such. But most of my career was spent investigating accidents. I worked with hundreds and hundreds of law enforcement personnel that were not even with my department. Not even with my department. So that's what happens. That's exactly what happens. We work with paramedics. We work with other departments.
You get to an accident scene and, they're helping you, you're helping them. It's just the way it goes. Or different calls at people's homes.
Yeah. And even since I've been here where I am now, semi-retired, I met my share of officers here. Just about 5 or 6 months ago, whatever it was, we had a pretty good sized accident right near my corner of my house, out here right in the street. And the police didn't show up for quite some time. I directed traffic for probably 45 minutes. Even after the police got there, I continued because I was doing the job. I was controlling the traffic. And even with I was out there in the street with my air tanks directing traffic. Unreal. And avoided accidents. People that were not paying attention to anything and then all of a sudden were coming down the street and saw me at the last minute, goes, oh no, hit the brakes. And I stopped them before I got myself hurt or anybody else got hurt. I still controlled traffic for 45 minutes, long after the local cops got here. A lot of cops locally here now know me for various reasons. And when something happens, I'm not going to say if, but when something happens, and I know some of them listen to this program. They said occasionally they tune in. So any of you guys in Sandy, come on by and say hi. And if
Now,
something happens, come on by.
I want you to all know that if Ron's directing traffic, he's got a one-step, one-tank rule. If you stop close enough that he can take one step, the tank comes down on your hood.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh,
One
that's
step,
funny.
one tank rule.
Yep. There was a yo-yo, and I'll tell you this story just for kicks and giggles right here. There was a gentleman that wasn't paying attention to my partner and I a lot of years ago, and the guy ran over my partner's foot. His machined aluminum flashlight went into the guy's hood. Yeah, a police officer got kind of mad getting his foot run over and planted his flashlight in the middle of this guy's hood. And the guy went to jail.
Yep.
Unreal.
Seems reasonable to me.
Unreal.
It's just a pain reaction. Reflex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a pain reflex. Dave, in my opinion, because the guy had looked at Dave for like 10 minutes as he was coming down the street. You couldn't miss Dave in the middle of the street. Dave was like 270 pounds, a big dude, tall and big, and you don't miss Dave. And the guy still ran over Dave's foot. So anyway. So yeah, Dave had a pain instinct and planted his flashlight, and the guy still went to jail. And we towed the guy's car.
Oh, yeah. An expensive day for that guy.
Yeah. And Dave, I don't know whether you're still alive or you're still listening, but I just told your story to millions of people. Well, thousands. I'll take thousands of people. Oh gosh, what a life, what a career I've had. So Terry, how about Cascadia?
Well, I've continued to do what I kind of consider is my job, and I look at about 500 and some seismograms per day.
And I look like about 60 or 70 today.
Yeah, I do my normal 500 plus, and it still continues. It's not gotten better. We've had a day where it's eased off a little bit in some areas, but other areas are compensating by being busier.
Right.
Southern California has been busier today, but Rainier has backed off a little bit. So it's good that things take a little break here and there.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my
I noticed somebody posted an e-steps, and I went on there, and there was a hotspot in the ocean right off the south tip of Vancouver Island.
Mm-hmm.
Not a huge one. I checked the water depth there, and it's about 300 feet. So it's right at the top of, you can see a seamount right there on the Google Earth imagery. Right on the south end of Vancouver Island. It's not a big one, but it's there.
Yeah.
And, even with 300 feet of water, to get an obvious hot spot at the surface, you got a lot of heat coming up.
Yeah. A lot of heat.
Yeah. So, the activity just continues. We've not had, obviously we had the 4.6 South Vancouver Island a few days ago. We had the one at Mammoth as well. So they're close to each other. They were one day apart, and both were 4.5 or greater.
Right.
So that's pretty significant. I went back and had a good hard look at the Baker earthquake that I said was a 4. I think I made a mistake. I think I made an error on the Baker earthquake. But I'm going to give you a little glance at what Baker is actually doing right now. Let's see if I can get this to work. Ron, let's see. Share screen. There we go. Share. Is that showing up there, Ron?
Should be. Yep.
So there's Mount Baker. It's not had the large earthquake that I thought it was. I went through the seismograms. What I had caught as a low frequency earthquake that matched up exactly in timing with the earthquake signature, which was smaller, that I saw at Mount Baker. So that's how I got fooled. And every once in a while, I get fooled. So anyway, this is primarily steam.
Yeah.
You can see it's short on the top, long on the bottom.
Yeah.
The line for these blue waves is right here, and they're short on the top, down at the bottom. So I would expect, especially when it gets down to here, that this is Mount Baker steaming off some more, having a venting episode.
A venting episode?
A venting episode. This is Mount Rainier, and you can see it's a little slower. And that's what slower looks like, because the previous day looked like this. And this is a pretty normal seismogram now at Mount Baker. And that's all magma infill and associated plate movement heavy lines. You can't have this much water coming up through the volcano, activating the magma, creating these steam burst signals here and here, without a process that's going on.
Right.
We know what's going on at Baker. Here it is at Mount Rainier. See if I can get somewhere else here. I'll go to another page. I set this up so it won't take too long.
Cool.
This is beside Mount St. Helens. Gives you an idea of what's going on. I like to look at the sites that are nearby. This is steam bursts through this area here. These heavy lines show small magma movement. This is larger magma bursts. Some of this involves plate shift. That's vibrations that are coming into the seismogram as well. But it's really hard to tell the difference between magma movement, heavy lines, and plate shift lines.
Can you scroll down there? Because we're only seeing the top of that seismo.
Is that better?
I'm still only seeing the top of the seismo. CDMR HMZ.
Well, I'll just pop out and pop back in. Is that better? Did that change anything, Ron?
A tiny bit.
So you're only seeing the top of it.
Yeah, I'm only seeing the top of it.
Odd.
Yeah, that is.
I'll do this. We'll just get right out of it.
And go back in.
And go back in. We can do that. How's that?
There we go. Now we're seeing that whole thing.
And that's Trade Dollar Lake beside Mount St. Helens. And it gives you an idea of what's going on. Do you see it when I scroll up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So this is steam burst down through here at a little bit of a distant site. I'll just, this is another one beside it. It gives you an idea of what's going on. This is Studebaker Ridge. And this is the east dome of Mount St. Helens today. And there's the steam bursts that we were seeing at a distance. That's all steam coming off of steaming inside the volcano. That's steam bursting inside. And when you get this, you're going to get some venting from the volcano most of the time.
Right.
Now, I've got Hood in a couple of spots. This is Mount Hood from the Timberline site. And it doesn't show the activity quite as good, but this is the fault line activity associated with Mount Hood. This is Cascade Locks, but it's actually at the base of the mountain near the fault. And that gives you an idea of how much is going on at Mount Hood, because these pulses, that's magma infill. That's magma infill. That's magma infill. And they're large magma infill signals. These are, I believe, plate vibrational signals, these heavy lines. They're quite a bit different from this signal. And then we'll go to, this is just outside of, this is the closest site to Mount Jefferson. And this is today's seismogram. You can see a little at the top, then it backed off, got busy again after 7 o'clock this morning. So when you're looking at sites and they're all the way along, we're going to go all the way down to Crater Lake. And there's Crater Lake activity. And these are magma infill signals. And there you're seeing some plate movement lines, some plate vibration. When you're seeing the movement all the way through north to south, let's see, Sisters, this is a little bit turned down on the top part of the seismogram. This is actual Sisters activity on the bottom at the proper amplitude. To activate all these volcanoes, you've got to have plate movement.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's just laying out the science a little bit.
You have to understand the science. That's why we tell you about this.
Tom, Dick, and Harry doesn't give us a very good seismogram, but these are steam burst signals through here where they have the curve on the top. That's a very clear steam burst inside the volcano signal. Now, where does the steam come from? Well, in subduction processes, crust as it is subducted carries water in it. It's trapped in the crust. When it gets very deep, it's under great pressure, and it gets released by a partial melting of the subducting crust. And then what has built the volcanoes is the process of subduction. So the volcanoes sit right over that deep point where the water is released, and that activates the magma. And what's happened to occur to get these steam burst signals is the magma has risen to above 1.5 kilobars, where it can no longer be maintained by pressure as water, and it's burst into steam. It's as simple as that. So this describes magma rise. You don't get steam burst without magma rise to induce the water to create the steam. So there you go. I don't know if the viewers want to look at seismograms all day here, but just thought I'd let you know.
Yeah.
Look at a few. These weren't terribly striking seismograms. The Baker one was very active. The one yesterday from Rainier was very active. What we can also do is, just so you understand, this isn't only at the volcanoes. That's today in Puyallup. And these are all magma infill pulses. Puyallup, Washington. Let's go to this one.
I'm glad we saw those. I'm glad we saw the plate movement ones, because a lot of people have been saying, well, the plate's not moving, but it's the volcanoes, the magma's moving. No, it's magma and plate movement.
Yeah, you get one with the other. You don't get magma infill at volcanoes without the process of subduction occurring, which
Right.
requires plate movement, and that's what gives you the signals at the volcanoes. So you basically, except for Mount St. Helens, which has a separate magma channel that feeds into it, and that's proven under the Columbia River, by the way, through a combination of hotspots and seismology. We'll go have a look at that next. But this is Cedar Moraine. We'll have a look at where that is. It's just by the Rattlesnake Mountain Scenic area, Twin Falls Nature Area, Snooze Junction. For those that live in the area, they know where that is.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
And this is, whoops, I got you back, Ron.
Hey, I'm adjusting my microphone.
This is Haystack Mountain. It's the smaller mountain. It's a smaller mountain that's west of the Cascades proper. That's a lot of activity. This is all combination of plate movement and magma infill.
You need to share that screen so people can see it.
Oh, I've lost you again, have I? All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go. There's Haystack.
There we go.
So again, that's a lot of activity to be away from the Cascades proper and still have that much activity. There's got to be a source, right?
Right.
Well, we'll go look at the source. Where would the source for that magma be?
Oh, I just don't know.
See if I get the right one. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Bear with me. I've got so many pages. No, that's the Oceanside sites. There. Oh, that's Puyallup again. I got that one up for no good reason. Where did I put it, Ron?
You hid it from us.
I did. You can see that I've got a lot of pages tucked away here.
Yeah.
Not that one. It's not that one. Oh, did it go away over here? Nope. I've lost it for now, Ron.
Oh, man.
How can that be? It's a terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
Forks.
That's my phrase. Terrible thing.
Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay. Now I'm going to have to move these to current. Just give me half a moment here. You still seeing seismograms there?
See page unresponsive.
No, I'm going to have to get out and reshare these. I'll just get these set to current first.
Okay. That happens occasionally.
All right, stop share. Share screen.
Just so you know, folks, while Terry's working on that, I got my AM FM shortwave radio today.
Ooh. Bear with me.
No problem. YACTENZ.
Gotta get something up that I can spot my share. Huh?
But yeah, I got
That's
my shortwave radio in today. I also got another emergency blanket in today, and I wanted to show you this. I got this just so I could show it to you. This is a pocket first aid kit. It's got a lot of bandages, gauze, and everything else in it. And this only costs $1. This only costs $1. Survivalsolutions.com.
That's pretty good.
Survivalsolutions.com. A pocket first aid kit. Yeah, it is pretty good.
So the first one you're going to see is the Columbia River. Now this one isn't as striking as some, but this is right on the shoreline of the Columbia River. I'll back it up one day so you can see what's there. Not much different. And one more day. So it has busy days and slow days. So this is just at the mouth of the Columbia River. This is heading pretty much due east, inland. That's supposed to be already set one day earlier. I have to wait for the circle to go around for a moment. My apologies. I had most of the seismograms set. I didn't have this one set.
By the
In
way,
fact, I lost it entirely.
Yeah. By the way, we just had a 5.4, a large 5.4 in the Kuril Islands, just
That's
south
up
of
there.
Russia. Yeah, it is.
So this is today. One site east, still on the Columbia River or close to it. That's how it looked yesterday. So that's a lot of magma movement, and you can see that by the little bits of the baseline you can see on the bottom line that it's not an overly amplified signal. That's about right. I see this all the time.
Wow.
That's pretty much a daily occurrence. This is the next site online or in line with that. And this points at Mount St. Helens. So now you can understand why Mount St. Helens would be able to erupt by itself and be offset to the east or to the west from the main volcanic trend. And it's been a big question for the geologists and seismologists. Why is it offset? Well, it's actually got its own separate magma channel. It's not just a subduction volcano. It's also got a magma channel that feeds right into it. And we're looking at it right now on the seismograms.
It's amazing.
And this one is a pretty awful site. Sometimes we get a little glimpse of what's actually going on, but they put patterns in it. So this part is realistic in here. This part all through here is nonsense. This part all through here is nonsense. This is artifact machine-made patterns. That's artifact machine-made patterns, but you can still, this isn't bad, you can still see for half the page what's actually going on. And this is very close to Mount St. Helens.
Right.
So there's no doubt that these track a magma channel, not in my mind at least. And there you go, Ron. I'll give it back to you.
That's fine. You do that. The part that I found amazing was the information you picked up on Mount Hood, because everybody says, even the yo-yos I talked to early this morning, said that nothing was going on at Mount Hood. Really? Really? Prove it. Prove it. We
Well,
saw activity at Mount Hood.
I'm just, because this is so easy, and do one thing. And I did this once before. I'm just getting it set up, and I'll get to see if I can find you again here. There you are. I'm going to share your screen, one.
There you are.
So you can see Mount Hood in the middle of the page, and everything's nice and green. I wonder what caused that, Ron.
I would say that's probably SO2 that's caused that.
Now, let's just have a look at how extensive this is.
Oh, it's quite extensive. I saw that this yesterday morning when I was looking at it.
It goes all the way around here. It's all over here. But you think it stops there. It's pretty thinned out right up to this road. Now, there may have been a fire. There could have been a fire at some point.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it. We would have a lot of gray.
The trees are still there.
Exactly.
Now, this area here looks like a fire to me, because it's dead standing trunks and no tops. So some areas will be hit by fire, but if you have this kind of dry tinder that we have,
yep.
And there's a dying tree. This area isn't too bad. You just got the odd one dying.
Right.
But look at how sparse it's becoming.
Yeah.
Look at all the trees that are lying on the ground. You can see the white trunks.
Yeah.
There's hardly any trees left in this forest.
Yeah. That's not man-made forest thinning. That's not what we're seeing. When they go in and thin forests, they take the trees with them.
This hasn't been logged. There's no logging scars anywhere in here.
Right.
This is just die off.
Right.
And you can see it's an advancing die off.
Right.
It's all around the mountain.
It's everywhere.
Just logs laying on the ground everywhere, the trunks of trees. But it's progressing, because you can see that there's some trees there. There's some trees there. Look at how bare it gets. It's almost nothing back here.
Yeah. They can't say that nothing's going on. You just can't.
Look at the size of the area. That's
Yeah,
huge.
it is. It is.
There's more in
It's
here.
huge.
This, I don't know if that's true. Yeah, I think it was tree kill too. I was in here earlier. It's not so obvious here. If it is, it's not obvious. There's no trunks lying on the ground. It's just sparse. But anyway, gives you an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
I got into this area off to the side of Mount Hood, and I found that there was tree kill going into the back as well. And it's not just Mount Hood. There were areas all over the place.
Yeah.
Hood
It's
was
amazing.
Hood's just the easy one to find.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing happening at Hood, what's causing the tree kill?
Yeah.
That's the point.
You
If
know,
it's not fires, they're not burnt. There was one area we saw that looked like a fire, but other areas don't look like fires.
no. I don't think it has anything to do with fires. It's SO2 coming out of the ground. It's killing those trees.
Yeah.
It's killing those trees. You know, I take it back to what I talked about months ago when I spoke about my cousin's home just outside of Blackfoot, Idaho. I believe she's on Highway 186 or 126 or something, a state highway up in Idaho, outside of Blackfoot. And her yard used to be beautiful green grass. And now there's magma, or not magma, I'm sorry, lava rock. Magma is the molten stuff. Lava rock is the solidified rock. And that's what she has now in her front yard. Cracks in her basement walls, cracks in the floors, and magma surrounding her house. One day that house is going to crumble because the pressures of pressures of the lava being pushed up, the uplift in her area. Now, Blackfoot, Idaho is about an hour north of where I used to live. It's about an hour and a half south of Yellowstone. So you can see where the volcano is. The magma chambers go a lot farther south than just Blackfoot. They stretch all the way down to Soda Springs, Lava Hot Springs, Idaho. And then they go back up north to Yellowstone. Yellowstone is 11 Grand Canyons in size. It's huge. And you can imagine where the magma chambers under Mount Hood are. Look at what's going on. Look what's going on. Tree die off. Before my cousin lost her yard, the acids from the magma were pushing up and they were literally eating my cousin's yard. And then the lava started coming up. Okay, that's what happens. That's what happens. It's normal processes. I've seen so much of it over the years, it's not funny. It's not even funny. And yet people say, oh, that's not true. Okay, really?
No, it can't be true.
Yeah, unreal. Just God-picking real. I shake my head at a lot of it because people don't know what they're talking about. If they do, if these experts really think that they know what they're talking about, then tell us the truth. Don't hide it anymore. There's so much evidence out there, folks. You don't have to hide stuff from us because we're going to find it and we're going to tell everybody about it. You know,
we definitely certainly found a ton of tree kills. I went all the way from east of Lassen all the way to Mount Rainier. It was all volcanic features involved. And literally, when you put it all together, it's hundreds of thousands of acres of tree kill. And yeah, a little patch here was logged. There had been a little fire here or a large fire there. but the majority had not seen any activity and wasn't fires.
Right.
So why did all of those trees die around volcanic areas?
Right.
It's
Right.
straight up cause and effect because we saw hot spots through satellite imagery in those very same areas.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I wanted to show you some things. We got another 17 minutes here before we got to end the show. We should have gotten started right at 6, but I was just getting back from going to the post office right at 6. And from now on, we'll be starting our show at 6 p.m. straight up, 6 to 8 p.m., just so everybody knows what's going on. But I want to show you guys some things that have been happening. Today, just south of the village of Queen Charlotte's Island, British Columbia, we had a 1.90 magnitude earthquake. I'm sorry, there it is. A 1.9 magnitude earthquake south of Queen Charlotte's Island village there. That's not all. There's more. Down near Port Alice, 76 miles south of Port Alice, a 2.8 magnitude earthquake off of Vancouver Island. Notice where that earthquake is, right on the subduction zone. Right on the subduction zone. Let's go south to 28 miles south of Sook. I think it's pronounced Sook, S-O-O-K-E, Sook, British Columbia, a 2.13 magnitude earthquake. Yes, it's a small earthquake, but it happened. The plate's still moving. The plate is still moving. Graham, Washington, 0.48 today. Over by Packwood, Washington, is 0.07. Now, folks, what is near Packwood, Washington? Can anybody please tell me what's near Packwood, Washington? Terry, do you know what's near Packwood, Washington?
There's this mountain that starts with an R in that vicinity.
Exactly. Ah, yes, Mount Rainier. I'm joking with you folks because we talked about Rainier earlier. But we had an earthquake there. We had an earthquake just 18 miles northwest of Packwood. And in fact, you know something? I'm going to zoom in on that. I'm going to zoom in because I can. I want to show you where that earthquake was. And it was on the mountain. It was not on the summit, but it was on the western flank. It was on the western flank of Mount Rainier. Okay? Not down underneath the mountain. This was on the mountain. This was on Mount Rainier today. Okay? And yet nothing's going on. Fascinating. Fascinating. Now, that's not the only earthquake that happened in the Cascadia Range. Here's one near Portland, Oregon, 4 miles south of Scappoose, Oregon, a 2.0. Now, a lot of times we don't see earthquakes, or they don't report earthquakes in Oregon. We have to go to PNSN to find out what exactly happened. Why are they not showing us these earthquakes? So we go over to PNSN. And what is PNSN going to show us? Well, let me show you. I'm going to go to PNSN right now. Terry, I went to PNSN early this morning, and just before I was to pull up the website, my granddaughter unplugged the router.
Oh, did she now?
She unplugged my router. And I'm going, no, it says try again. I'm going, what?
Kids, they got to keep you going.
Yeah. And this time it says try again. but I think they took the website down.
Where do you want to go?
pnsn.org. See if you can get it.
Where would you like to be? A particular site?
I just
you want
to
Mount Rainier?
Yeah, I'd like to see Mount Rainier from PNSN and show what's going on there.
Because I've got Mount Rainier on a tab or on an open page.
Yeah.
There. That's. I'll just.
I'm still on the air, so obviously my router works, but it's showing PNSN not there.
Do you want the 27th? Is that correct?
Sure. 27th would be just fine.
I'm just going to find the right location with the 27th. Okay, there you go. I'll that share, and there you go.
Cool.
I think that's it there that you're talking about.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
What did they call that? A 1 point something?
Yes.
Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah. Actually, it was a 0.7.
Yeah.
Point,
yeah okay.
0.07 magnitude quake.
Well, now we know what the size of a 0.7 on this seismogram is.
Yeah. You see it, guys. You see it.
Back to you, Ron. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm welcome very much. Okay. Now, I want to show you just a couple more before we end the program here.
And that's the way it was.
That's right. That's right. Just north and east of Petrolia, California, we have a town called Hayfork, California. You notice where the Gorda Escarpment is, folks? Just off the coast there?
Yep, Mendocino Ridge pushes right on it.
Yeah, Hayfork, California, a 2.12 earthquake. Then just south of there, you see the 10 plus earthquakes. That's the geysers, the geothermal power plant there. That's the geysers. Then we go over to Incline Village, Nevada, over just east of Reno. We have earthquakes there, just east of Reno. Tahoe Vista, Lake Tahoe, 0.3. Woohoo! We see it moving. We see it moving. I wonder why it's moving, folks. There's magma beneath them there hills. There's magma beneath them there hills. Mammoth Lakes, folks. Mammoth Mountain. There's a bunch of earthquakes there. Mammoth Mountain today, folks. There's a bunch of earthquakes. Yesterday, there were only a couple. Now look at what's going on at Mammoth.
Looks like there's a lot. When you're done, I'll steal your screen, Ron.
Hey.
I want to interrupt you.
You can do that. Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth Mountain. And all around it, we have earthquakes. All around it. And just east of Mammoth, what do we have? Longs Valley Caldera. Longs Valley Caldera. But we have earthquakes all around Mammoth. 0.81, 0.6, 0.2s. We have a ton of earthquakes all around the area. We have a swarm. We have a good sized swarm, and this is just part of it. That's just part of it, folks. Mammoth Mountain is moving. Oh, let's see here. Just got about 8 minutes, and I want about the last 2 minutes here. Down in Southern California, Bodefish, California, we have a couple of quakes. We have a bunch of quakes along the San Andreas Fault in the Anza Gap. And there's more, folks. There's more. Northern Mexico, Baja California, just south of the Salton Sea. What do we have there? Cerro Prieto volcano, which is another geothermal plant there. We have 2.3s, 1.6s, 2.27s, all over the place. That's what's going on in Southern California, folks. It's moving.
And this is a little bit of, this is a 30-day feed for the west side of BC and into BC here, a little bit Alberta in this area. But you have a look at how many earthquakes there are and recognize that I've been watching this for years. And this is about 3 to 4 times the normal number of earthquakes for a 30-day feed.
There's
maybe not
hundreds
4
of earthquakes.
Maybe 3 times, but it's a lot of earthquakes. We don't normally have this. And you look at the size, and there's a 4.2. That's a 4.0. That's a 4.0. They're not huge earthquakes. This is where we had a near 7 right in this area. It's disappeared off the feed since.
Yeah.
It's past 30 days for that one. But we're still having 3s, 3.9, near 4. It's a lot of earthquakes in the area.
Yeah, that was on the 24th. 24th going into 25th Christmas Day.
Yeah. So just be aware this is a lot of activity.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. Folks, we want to make sure that you know what's going on. That's why we've come on the program tonight. That's why we come on every night, to let you know what's going on. The coronavirus is spreading. There have now been about 50 plus deaths just in China alone. Go ahead, Terry.
Has there been discussion about, I know watching chat, I was watching people talk about a travel ban. I talked about the potential of that a little bit. Does it seem to be likely that there would be a travel ban imposed for this?
It's possible.
Like
that is possible.
medical martial law, basically travel ban.
Yeah, and that's what it would be if the opportunity availed itself because of widespread virus detection. Now, we've had 12 flights that left China yesterday and went over to Australia. Everyone from China that went into Australia yesterday is now quarantined. They have flown people out of China today to San Francisco, and they're watching those people in San Francisco. They're quarantining those people that came out of China today. Most of those belong to our embassy that was in China. And the Emergency Operations Center in San Francisco has now been opened and is operational because of the coronavirus. More people have been detected in Texas. We've heard California. We know for sure Washington State, over in Seattle, Tacoma area. It is moving, and in Arizona as well. And there's some suspected cases in Colorado. So you guys need to know what's going on, and we're going to keep you informed. I may be doing a special report tomorrow morning about the coronavirus, and we may continue it tomorrow night, depending on what is going on. But we also have a lot of stuff going on with earthquakes. We have a solar wind happening right now. We have planetary alignments that are happening right now, and honestly, we're looking for a possible magnitude 8 to even a 9 earthquake happening during the next 48 hours. Okay, that's what we're looking at. So we want to keep you advised of what's happening. Right now, we're going to sign out. We're going to sign out, and we want you to be aware of everything going on so that you know what is happening. That's why we're here, folks. Have a great night. Thanks for listening to us. God bless. Do know that we all love you. We want to thank Terry for being with us. Thank you very much, my good friend, my brother.
Appreciate you're very welcome.
We really appreciate you very, very, very much. As Walter Cronkite would say, and that's the way it is. Monday, January 27th, 2020. I almost said 2019. 2020 today, guys. Have a great one, folks.
Good night, everybody.